What is going down, squad? Shout out to SDS. How are we doing today? We doing okay? We ready for a film breakdown? Huh? Happy Friday, everyone. Oh, where'd my film go? Give me my film up here. Drop an SDS in the chat if you're having a happy Friday. Drop an SDS in the chat if you're having a happy Friday. We get some film today. It's been a while, guys. It's been since definitely in season. We haven't done a film breakdown in some time. But guess what? We got our hands on the tape. We got our hands on the tape, ladies and gentlemen. And could you guess which tape I went to first? Could you guess? I went straight. I hunted and I found it. We got the flow going. You see the flow. We got the flow going. We're about to drop some film breakdowns. We're going to do Donovan West and Drake Jackson in one sitting. Shout out the Pac-12 boys. Thank goodness it's Friday. Thank God, Cash. Shout out to SDS in the chat. Okay, well, so this is it, Raul. All you have to do is you just have to subscribe to the channel. You have to have the bell notification on, and you have to like every live and every video that you see come onto this channel. If you do that, you are a certified member of the SDS squad. Oh, the beard breakdown is coming. SDS warm bread is my favorite. Shout out the squad. We see you guys. I'm fresh. I am fresh off of doing a show with the legendary Larry Krueger, formerly of KNVR, now has his own channel. Go check that out after this particular breakdown. We did a extensive draft breakdown of all the prospects. We spent an hour breaking down undrafted free agents. So it's probably going to be one of the most comprehensive draft shows you will see. That's not on this channel. You go over to Larry Krueger's, man. We got after it. Shout out Larry. Start calling Larry Legend at this point. What's up, Tracy? What's up, media? What's up, J-Tan? What's up, all the SDS? So, Raul, you're in there, baby. You're in there. Good to have you on board. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We got the hashtag breadwinners all over the building. No, we're showing ASU film, the only film that matters. Dr. Random saying, what's the sourdough squad? This is the best squad. The SDS is the sourdough squad. See all these lovely folks that we have in the chat. See all this energy that we have in the chat. This is the sourdough squad. This is the SDS. This is the best group on YouTube. And you cannot tell me any other way. SDS in the building. So yeah, I was on with Larry Krueger this more at our normal slot time, but check that out. But let's get in some tape. Let's get through it. I hope everyone's doing well. We don't have any really drama to report today, do we? Any drama? I don't think so. Hey, look at us. Look at us. I don't think there's any drama for us to really report on today. Phenomenal. Yes, legendary Krug, Larry the legend. Appreciate it for Jason. Jason said he tuned in, calling it a dope show. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Oh, all right. Hey, Steve-O, all this is an opportunity to get a better position. So, hey, It happens. It happens to the best of us. But just know that this is just a setup for the ultimate comeback, baby. Screw them. Get after it, my boy. We got your back. We got your back. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, I got my notes. So, I'm going to give you a little preview of what we're going to get into today. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of Donovan West. We're going to see a lot of Donovan West. We're going to see a lot of Donovan West. Now, again, this is Drake Jackson. This is Donovan West. Again, let's point them out. Let's point out the boys. We got Drake Jackson, the 61st overall pick for the San Francisco 49ers. You will see him in 99. We also have undrafted free agent supreme in Donovan West at center. Again, I put out a tweet earlier. Shout out Tony. He actually asked me this question in a Twitter space. I was actually in the middle of doing something else, so I couldn't hop on. But he asked me the question, and I couldn't come up to speak. But at the time, he had asked me, he's like, why did Donovan West go undrafted? And I just literally sat there, and I'm like, if I was able to speak, what would I say? And I was like, I don't know. I don't freaking know. Why did this man go undrafted? And we're going to watch the tape and we're going to get into it. And I guarantee you, just after this tape alone, where you're going to ask the same question, why did Donovan West go undrafted? I don't know, but it's not our problem anymore because Donovan West is here to stay. But let's take a look at it. First off, we're going to be able to see some of the traits from Drake Jackson. Okay, so we're going to get a better view of this end zone angle. So we got Drake Jackson over here. One of the plays that I really, really like right here, or this play from Drake Jackson, is you get to see the traits. Like first play, right off the bat, you get to see the explosion, you get to see the quickness, you get to see the awareness, you get to see it all. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Get after him, my boy. Get after him. So here we got Drake Jackson again. This to me is he diagnosed this pre-snap. He knew what was coming. You get Rachaad White, one of my favorite prospects. Again, watching this just solidified even further why Rachaad White was one of my favorite prospects. He went off against USC. But again, we're focusing on Drake Jackson. Watch him squeeze down this line. So you can even see here, he does have to have contain. So you'd see him square up a little bit. See that square up? He's squaring up just to make sure we don't get a cut back to the outside. He has to be responsible for that. He can't just completely crash downhill, which he did, which to me feels like good pre-snap diagnosis. He knew what was coming at him. But you can see here, he just completely crashes down and gets right in Rachaad White's face. Now, he gets his hands on him, and Rachaad is able to give him a little stiffy, and he's able to get off of him. But the fact that Drake Jackson is here when he was, look at all the white shirts around. Look at all those white shirts around. And again, do me a favor. Smash that like button if you haven't already. We are watching not only Drake Jackson, but we are going to be taking a look at our undrafted free agent center, Donovan West. And we are going to go look into it all. I believe after watching this tape that Rachaad White was for sure going to be picked by the 49ers. But the Buccaneers took Rachaad White at pick 91. So right before the 49ers, they got sniped. And but hey, we ended up with a good one with TDP, but Rachaad White is just that dude. So let's see here. This is going to be a little example of Drake working inside counter move right here. So we're going to see him do a little setup to the outside. Little setup. See that first step right here, setting up like he is going to potentially be going to the outside. Then you work the inside move. You see the hand swipe. is able to get by, but you get the this is like a veteran play. I see 49ers offensive linemen do this all the time, the little L hook when they get beat, because look at how it brings 74 back to Drake. So this is actually a really good play by Drake, to be able to get to the inside with some quickness, but you get a little hold here from 74. He latches on for dear life. But again, Drake does a good job of being disruptive. So right off the bat, you can see the traits from Drake. We got him crashing down on that first play, and then we're going to see him do the counter, basically set up outside speed, inside move. But again, you see the traits with Drake Jackson. For me, one of the things that first stands out is just how long these arms are. He has insanely long arms, and they just pop out on you at tape. And again, you see the mobility, you see the ability to move to the inside. He has great traits. It's one of my biggest takeaways from this particular tape is that he just has phenomenal traits. But let's focus to here. I believe we get a West play. Yes. Yes. Here we go. We're going to start seeing West pop up quite a bit because, again, we are watching two prospects, but watch West get to second level. This is a zone left. And so he's going to get on his track to the left. The guy that he should be theoretically responsible for if he came into a zone veers off to the right. And he does a phenomenal job of peeling off and getting his hat on 26. As a result, look at what happens when you have a phenomenal running back. This, again, guys, this is an NFL caliber running back. Rachaad White is that guy. And you can see why he's able to find his blocks. He's able to find that cutback lane right off Donovan West. And when we look at the tape, Donovan West and Rachaad White do this quite a bit. Rachaad was very savvy at being able to find these types of creases and then just bounce through them. He's an extremely tough runner. Again, just solidified why he was one of my favorite prospects in this class. But let's keep moving through some of the tape. This next particular play is another West play. So this one, I believe we're going to have West on an outside zone to the right, and he might pick up a little bit of pancake, a little bit of syrup on the side. Let's take a look. So right now we have Drake over here, West right here. Oh, it's a zone left. My bad. Outside zone left. So watch West get on his horse, get his guy, and just finish the block. I love God. Again, I don't know how this man went undrafted. I don't know how he went undrafted. Let's take another look at the other angle here. This is the angle that I want. So you got West. This is the wrong one. This is the one I want. So here we got West. You get a little better idea of him working 47. Again, you got an outside shade here. So you have to get on your horse and make sure this guy doesn't cross your face to this gap. So he does a really good job of that. But what I like, again, is he's made contact. You see the contact, but look at the way the feet are moving. He's squared up right here to his defender, but the feet are still moving laterally. Really freaking like that. And again, and then he comes back and he finishes the block. So loving this, man. This tape, I had more fun. And again, we got Drake back here. You can see him working backside. Actually should be in a contained spot a little bit better to be able to, try to make sure the cutbacks don't exist. But I mean, he's getting held like a mother sucker right here. So I wish I could enlarge the mouse. Someone's got to teach me how to do that. I got to make the mouse definitely more visible. Someone's going to have to teach me that. But let's see. Let's go to again. And I went through this tape, and so many plays hopped off from West, which again just reminded me of like why did this guy go undrafted? Like why did West go undrafted? Again, I see why Drake is a good pick, but it's just like why did West go undrafted? It's a question I will have. I would love to ask someone for that to give me an answer, but for right now, we don't know. Let's see. For right now, so this one is interesting. Again, I think this more speaks to Drake Jackson's athletic ability. Again, we got Drake Jackson over here. If you can see the mouse, try to circle him a little better. But this is a coverage play. And the reason why I wanted to highlight this particular play is because Drake does have an athletic ability to be able to cover. Um, you can see like he's able to get out here, get his hands on him, gets his eyes into the backfield, has decent leverage. It's not terrible, but we're also going to see this same concept, and we're going to see that Arizona notice this, and I think they notice this particular technique from Drake, where he kind of falls off, and they actually come back and take advantage of it. But it is it is nice to see that he does have the athletic ability and athletic upside to be able to play in coverage. Now, I don't necessarily think the 49ers should use him in that particular scenario. However, he can do it. So I just wanted to show that particular instance of that play. This one is, I think, one of my favorites from West. So I think we're going to get a double A gap pressure here. So once we get a double A gap pressure, you'll see how it unfolds. Obviously, I'm going to key on West on this particular play. You got Drake Jackson at the top. But look at what they tried to do right here. Watch all this double A gap pressure. They really tried to overload the A gap. And this is why I freaking love Donovan West. Look again why. He is moving the protection is sliding to the left. So his first responsibility and what he's really looking for is he's looking for this big ugly right here. This big defensive tackle, he's moving in that direction. But he can sense that he is vacating quickly, and look at the wherewithal that West has to be able to back snap his head back, and then just completely stonewall 26. It affects this looping defensive end. Again, they're trying to do double A gap pressure. Great job by these guys switching. But again, shout out Donovan West for being able to see it and being able to come back and stop it. So absolutely love this. Donovan West is number 61. So Donovan West right here in the center. Again, you get to see how he's working his way to the left, is able to identify pressure coming back to his right, and then stonewall these guys. Again, blitz pickup is huge aspect of playing on the offensive line. And right there, you get to see how Donovan West just stonewalls double A gap pressure. I love it, man. I love it because you also have momentum from the edge looping around. Again, great by these three. It's 3-on-3 essentially. They do a phenomenal job of passing it off and then attacking it. Really love it, man. I really love it. And we're going to see other instances like that. Let's see on this particular play again. You know, we have Drake Jackson in here. But I'll be honest with you, Drake Jackson really didn't pop off the tape all that much. Like again, I'm gonna kind of highlight, just this random play with Drake Jackson out here. It's just a lot of that, just kind of like off to the side. He wasn't really in the middle of it all, but again, they weren't necessarily running right at him. You can see it's kind of a counter away. Um, Damn, who got lit up? Oh, tight end got lit up. Ooh. I didn't even watch the tight end here. This is completely sidebar. Watch 87 get rocked. Boink. Oh boy. Oh boy. He got rocked. Um Absolutely rocked. But yeah, this is more of a Donovan West show because honestly, Donovan West played that much better. He really did. Again, even here, he's kind of waiting for this double to happen. They stay engaged. Again, look at Rashad White, bro. Rashad White is that dude. I'm kind of upset that I didn't draft him in one of my rookie dynasty drafts when I had the opportunity. I actually went TDP over him, but which I hopefully don't regret. But after watching Rashad this particular game, oh my goodness, this dude's freaking good. So again, a lot of this from Drake, kind of off to the side. I tried to highlight most of the plays that he had, um, but honestly, West was the standout of this tape. If you had to ask me who was the MVP of the two 49ers draft prospects, pick 61 or the undrafted free agent, I'm going to have to say it was the undrafted free agent. The undrafted free agent had a great game. And here's another example of why I did like this guy. Here's the movement abilities. You got a nice little uh honestly, I forget what we call this. It's like a little uh you have essentially the guard blocked down and then you loop around as the center just because it's easier to block up this leverage. But again, you just get to see the movement ability of West. This is nothing for him. They used him as a puller quite a bit. He gets around, you get the down block from 77. He loops around, gets this double here, and then number one does the rest. But again, just really like it. Really like what he was able to do. And this was a good game for him. He had a phenomenal game. Um, let's see. West outside zone, good block on backer. So let's see what this particular play is. So outside zone, block on backer. Again, uh, find yourself a running back who can read blocks. Again, so this would have been a little bit better of a play for one if you didn't get immediate interior pressure on 60. These guys do this. I don't know the name of this particular technique in which they're trying to do this double technique, but you can see how basically how flat this guard is getting. He runs right past 60. He's supposed to guard, he's supposed to block 60. You're not supposed to run past 60. And so that kind of created pressure, forced one to cut it out a little bit. But if if you were able to wall 60 off here, you have Donovan West go to 10. Like this is damn near a house call. So this again, I'm highlighting this as a block for West because he did his job. He kicked out 10. But if you can get this sealed on the backside and you get 60 blocked, and then you're running off Donovan, this is a touchdown, baby. This look at that alley. Look at that alley. Look at that. This is six. So you got to get that backside block. You got to seal that. Donovan West does a great job of getting to the second level. Again, he gets out on his track. He's able to get out, get on 10. But because 60 affects the angle, one's not able to hit the hole like he should. But so far, so good. Just really, West is a baller, man. Let's go to another one that I've given credit to West for. Let's see what we get. So 10, 28. We get okay, this is gonna be we're gonna get in. I think this is it. Okay, watch these two plays by Rashad White. Watch these two plays by Rashad White. Let me remind you why he was one of my draft crushes. This guy's a dog. So this is one play. This is one play. Look at Rashad. What a savage. And we're going to come right back to Rashad. God, Rashad White is so freaking good. Rashad White is the running back. He's number 3. This guy's gone. So remember that play that we just looked at? Remember that situation where we didn't get a good seal on the backside of the run. It kind of forced him out. This is kind of a similar situation, but because he's able to squeak through there and Rashad just cooks him in the hole. But again, look at Donovan West. Look at this block here. Look, so this is they're running right off this wall. They're running right off the guard, right off the center. They have to create this natural lane. And you can see, guess where Rashad runs? Right off Donovan's hip and Cook 7. House call. House call. Love it. Absolutely love it. I definitely think Zakel could be the center of the future. But again, so could this guy. So could this guy, Donovan West, because again, he might not have, that prototypical size, but again, here he is. He's bodying someone again. Here's Donovan West right here in the middle. You got Drake Jackson on the right to the outside. Again, look at ultimately just overpowers 47. He's playing his zone, clears the space again. Rashad White running off Donovan West's hip. This is what I mean when we say running off the hip. This happens quite a bit. They run right off the hip of Donovan West a lot. And again, here you see him finishing the block, putting his guy on the ground. Donovan West is a savage, man. Like he's not going to be like ultra like I'm trying to think of the word like dominant. Like I think the fourth round grade that he had was relative. I think that was a good fair spot to have him because I don't think he's, ultra dominant. But when it comes to his movement abilities, his the way he operates in the zone scheme, he plays really well. And again, he just had a phenomenal game here against USC. So he just had a great game. And again, like this is Drake Jackson's on the field too, but we didn't get a ton of production from Drake Jackson on this particular game. He has his moments. He has his moments, and we'll highlight some individual pass blocking reps from Drake, and we'll be able to kind of see, I think, a bigger picture for Drake. But like right off the he didn't make a huge impact, but again, uh, he's played pretty well. He's played pretty well. Um, let's see here. What play do I want to get to? 12:55. Did we get to that one already? All right. So again, watch West here. West right here. You see the center position. I believe you have an outside. Yep. So you have an outside shaded nose tackle. You have an outside shaded nose tackle. Watch him just give this dude a free ride. Free ride from Donovan West. Again, I had so much fun watching this tape. So here's Donovan West again, right here in the center. You're going to watch him just drive 47, drive 47, drive 47. 47 ends up on the ground. Like, I mean, this is a 47 ain't no slouch. I guarantee you he's probably 4-star, 5-star prospect. And he controlled 47 this game. He controlled 47 this game. All right. So I think this play that we have coming up, we get a little bit of Drake on West. A little bit, not 100%, but we got a little impact, I think, here from both Drake and West. So we got West or Drake right here to the left side of your screen. West obviously playing center. So right here, I actually like, in the sense they have him kind of where they want to be in regards to Drake. They want Drake to, Drake, I would imagine, I know he's got what looks like to be outside help here with 29, but I think you'd want Drake to be a little bit more stout than kind of getting squeezed down like this. But if you look at it, Drake actually stonewalls his guy enough to push into West, and West gets kind of pushed back a little bit because of that. And then you get a trip. So I'm crediting Drake Jackson with this play. Because I think this push right here on 47 into Donovan West's guy forced Rashad to trip over West. So giving that to Drake. I think that's a Drake play. At least I'm quantifying it that way because as you see, West goes down after Rashad goes down after he trips over West. Uh, but again, you can see from Drake again he's able to get off, but he gets kind of lost in there. Um, I'm just excited to see how this guy develops. I'm excited to see how he develops. But again, my biggest takeaway from this particular tape was how well uh, West was. West was great on this in this game. He played pretty good. Let's see. We're gonna isolate. Let's isolate some pass rushing reps from Drake Jackson. So Drake Jackson, we got right over here on the right side, and you'll kind of see this is just a straight up pass pass rush. It looks like a bit of speed to power. Again, you get the straight upfield rush. You then transition into power. So when you hear speed to power, this is typically kind of what you see. You get the straight up speed, or you show speed to the outside, and then you convert it into power. As you can see, the left tackle is ready for it, did a decent job of anchoring. But again, you get a baseline understanding of how well his feet move. You see those long arms, right? Look at the arm length. So he has the ability to be able to be a productive pass rusher. What I want to see from Drake is like once you get that speed to power, maybe use that offensive lineman's leverage against him. Maybe do a little push pull. You get the push here. Now maybe pull him back towards you or to one side of you. Use his leverage against him. Maybe if you pulled him to the outside, he goes tipping. But again, you get the speed to power. But what's the move off this? Because the left tackle does a really good job of staying engaged and getting the block. So what does it look like after that? Um, so this is, I think, where Drake Jackson will be better in the NFL, especially getting in a room with Nick Bosa, Chris Kurserek, um, is the counter moves off his initial move. Again, you have to be able to set up a move and then counter off your initial move as well. So really like what he can do. But again, I think you can add more to Drake Jackson's bag. And if you want to watch, you got Donovan West again, just man on man, pass protection. Again, 47 had no shot against the West this game. West owned 47 all night. So he did a pretty good job. Let's look at another isolated pass rush from uh, Drake Jackson. Again, you can see the traits. The traits are definitely there. The traits aren't in question. It's like, okay, now how do we make those traits work for us? How do we make those traits be effective and be deadly. Let's see what this is the one I wanted. Okay, I think so. Now we have Drake lined up on the left side. He's standing up in this particular position. Um, let's see what we get. So this is going against Kellen Deesh. Or no, Kellen Deesh is on the left, I believe. So you can see, I forget what I keep forgetting what the name of this is. It's like it's a leverage move where you basically try to stiff arm. You put like all your weight into your right arm, you gain an angle and you use that angle and leverage to kind of turn that corner. And you see that he actually does kind of get around him in a sense, and you can kind of see the right tackle really lose ground when he goes into that particular pass rush move. But it's still a little raw. Like you want to see, like, see this grab right here. See that grab on right in this part. I want to see that right away. You get that hand in there, you can grab onto that chest plate and you pull it towards you with that leverage. That's how you get around. That's how you make this operation quicker. Because look, you can see he's got the hold, swipes the hand down, and then he gets around. So now, if you're able to have better coverage on the back end, or you force five to hold it a little bit more, Drake Jackson is potentially going to be there to get a sack. And you can see how quickly they get home with one coming unblocked off the edge. But again, you can see what he is capable of, but I also think it can get even better. So with Drake Jackson, I think there's a possibility here where, again, you want to see him snap that. He kind of misses, he hits, but then has to reattach. If that initial punch lands and then you get the rip and you don't have to kind of replace, I think you could win a little bit quicker. So I like the initial. I like what he has. Again, he has great tools. He has great measurables, and I think there's an opportunity where you can really develop him even into a more fierce pass rusher than what he was in college. And again, 47 literally was cakewalk for West. Had no problems really with him for much of the game. So. Um, let's see. We have a little bit of West polling. I think we get a West poll here. There it is. Oh yeah, get my guy out in space. Now, it wasn't perfect execution. It wasn't perfect execution from West, but again, I love this concept. I love pulling the center. It's essentially a counter with the center. I really like it. Let's see what happens here. Why doesn't this play work? So this is the missed block. 66 has got to be reading West a little bit better here. And if 66 seals this, basically rolls this block on 26, then you get the natural hole. And then hopefully you can kind of get that figured out. Because if let's think of this conceptually, if 77 gets this block on 10, which he doesn't, he just gets a piece of them, 10 flows over the top. But if you can kind of, because again, the puller, the second puller has to read what West is doing, and West is maneuvering for a kick out. If West is going to kick out, this guy has to cut inside. So I read this as the tackle did the wrong execution because you can see him still trying to flow over the top of West, and that's why this looks weird. If you allow West to kick out, 66 crashes down on 26, and you get this block from 10, you can envision the natural hole right here that you could just cut up. So I don't necessarily look at this more as a fault of West. I just think the tackle, you can see how wide he's rolling. He's got it, and if he was able to turn this inside and get that block here, and you got a block here, it definitely springs things open a little bit more. So it's I don't think that's West's fault. It's kind of breakdown of the tackle reading West. Obviously, West had to figure out, am I rolling this or am I kicking this out? Because 49 kind of dropped back. He didn't gain any depth. But then when he started attacking him, he started escaping to the outside. Then you got to kick out. So West has a decision to make. He's got multiple decisions to make. Do I roll this block? Do I kick it out? I think West ultimately makes the right decision. But again, off the back side of it, just not great execution from the guys behind him. So I still think he did a good job. But again, it was more of an indication of West pulling as a center. Let's see, 2043. So again, like we're doing a lot of West. A lot of West. It's not the intention. It's not the intention to do just West, but again, we saw a lot of that. You have Drake Jackson right now. This is just a random play. But again, like it's not a lot there, right? There's not a lot there. It's not a lot there to really like get super in depth on, and there's just a lot of that on this tape from Drake. Just being away from the play, or just really not having too much of an impact. So I tried to highlight as much as I could. But this tape definitely came away being a Donovan West tape. Now that could be biased. It could be. It could be. But I think if anyone else watched the tape, they'd kind of see the same thing. Now you're able to pull the traits off him, but off Drake Jackson. But he also wasn't like he was a game wrecker. He wasn't wrecking shop this particular game. So again, we ended back on West. Look at West. We got West right here, man up with the nose tackle, number 47. Yet again, oh, look, if I do it fast, it gets really big. Okay, there we go. But look who ends up on the ground again. Oh, boy. Look who ends up on the ground again. Number 47 by the hands of Donovan West. Again, Donovan was able to handle everything against USC. So Brian says, does it worry you about Drake or just a bad game? It's just more of the context of the game. I think, Arizona didn't run at him a ton. I think they ran away from him a lot. I think they were cognizant of him in pass protection. They were getting the ball out quickly. You can neutralize a pass rush just by being able to get the ball out quick. If you get the ball out quickly, like it doesn't matter how good of a pass rusher you are, you can't get home if they're getting the ball out super quick. So I think it's a combination of those things. I think it was more of a combination of them running away from Drake, them getting the ball out quickly. I'm not necessarily worried about it, but again, it's not like one of those situations where like you looked at the tape and you're like, "Oh, Drake was everywhere. Drake was just he was just wrecking shop. He was a game wrecker." He wasn't that in this game. He actually kind of disappeared a little bit. Now, it could be something to be a little concerned about. But again, I don't know these other guys on this defensive line. Again, 47 did not do anything for anyone. And, so it could just be maybe he didn't have a lot of talent around him. But it was okay. It was okay. Um, but this, I'll be honest, this is my first study of Drake like this, like full all the way through. Again, the traits are undeniable. Though what I would say is he does need to polish his technique. He needs to add the second move. So what I see from Drake is he'll unleash his first move, but I don't see the second move, or I don't see him, you know, going back to a move that worked and then countering off of it. So I think, again, when we talk about him being a bit of a raw prospect, I think that's truthful. I think that's truthful. I think he's a little bit raw. Oh, but here we got speed to power. So this one we got. This is a highlight for both. Uh, this is a highlight for both West and Drake. Okay. So on this particular play, what are we at? 24, 22:49. So this is a beautiful. This is arguably one of my favorite plays from West on the day. But you also got a really solid rep from Drake Jackson. So let's focus on West first. Then we will move out to Drake Jackson. But let's focus on the blitz pickup right here by 61. Again, we've seen this before. He's working his way to the left. He sees and recognizes that he's not getting any engagement from 47. So to him, that sets off a trigger and an alert that to be cognizant of what is coming backside. And so you can see instantly snaps his head back to the inside. You have 10 going A gap pressure. You have 97 containing the right guard. And look at the way West comes back and lights up 10, just completely clobbers him. And again, is one of my favorite things about West that I watch on tape is that he's very good at blitz pickup. He's very in tune with what they're trying to do with him. And again, if you look at West, just rocks number 10, gets 10 right on his butt. He actually rocked 10 so good that he took out his fellow offensive lineman. You can see his right guard get rolled up on as a result. You don't love to see that. But hey, West is just doing his job, and he completely decleated 10, trying to blitz up the A gap. But let's take a look at Drake. Again, speed to power. We talked about speed to power earlier. Watch this speed to power. Just completely dominates 66. 66 has no shot. So again, this is a good highlight on both. It's a good highlight on both. So we got beautiful blitz pickup by Drake from West, and we got a nice speed to power from Drake on the left side of the screen, basically shoving the tackle. But again, they get the ball out quick, right? Get the ball out quick. Doesn't allow Jackson to get home. But the traits, you look at it, speed to power, the arms, it's not bad. Not bad. All right. So 224, 23. All right. We're getting to the end. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the film breakdown. It's been a while since we've done one of these. It's fun to do it on college prospects. This is a first for us. We typically break down 49ers, but it's been fun to break down the prospects. I'm not going to lie. This one, again, you get to showcase Donovan West's movement abilities, the way he's able to pull across the formation. Love how his shoulders stay square to the line of scrimmage. comes off, gets 10. It's not like a true pancake, but hey, still gets 10, gets on the ground from a block that you're on. I'll take it. I'll take it. So you get a good sense of the way Drake gets out in space, or I'm sorry, West gets out on space. I like it. I like it a lot. I like this guy, man. Take a look here from this angle again. Look at the center. Watch him get around. It's pretty damn solid, man. Again, he did his job. He gets out here, gets on 10. 10 hits the turf. I know he slips a little bit, but hey, I'm going to credit West for that. Let's see what else we got. All right. We got a Drake tackle for loss. So we got Drake. He's on the right side of the defensive line, or our right, his left. And this is pursuit. So you can see gets a hold, gets held right here. This is a cheap shot by this wide receiver to hold him and kind of drag him down. You can see him pull and hit out his hip. But again, this is just some of the athleticism that Drake offers. Stays up on the ground. Is able to keep balance, stay on its feet, and comes and gets the quarterback. So good pursuit. Again, this is why you don't give up on a play. No matter how far on the backside you are, come down, keep pursuit, get the tackle. So again, you see the traits are there, man. Drake has the traits. The traits are absolutely there. The size, the length, the speed. He has baseline moves, but he's not ultra technical as a pass rusher. But that can come with more experience. Let's see here. What's this? Nothing in particular. We're almost there. 2 more plays, but I mean, again, you can sense this has been more about Donovan West, and that wasn't meant to be about Donovan West. It's just how the tape fell. It's just how the tape fell. Just how the tape fell. Let's see, 29-31. 2 more clips. We've made it. What was this? A touchdown? Oh, look at my son. Look at my son. Look at Rashad, man. Look at Rashad White. So inspirational. If the 49ers got Rashad White, guys, like I know I like TDP and I definitely love, the physicality element that TD brings, but my goodness, if you could have got this level of balance, vision, and patience from Rashad White, it would have been such a nice pick. Like I said, man, after watching this, I'm like, I love Rashad White even more than I already did. And again, the only reason why I liked Rashad White is because I was watching Donovan West. But Rashad White is so good, man. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. But let's see. We got a double to backer here on. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So I never learned. I feel like this is a technique that I've seen from a lot of college players. I've seen it run by our offensive lineman where it's almost like this slingshot double. It's like you're running this severe outside zone, but it's almost like the backside lineman that's doubling is like pushing you almost like it's like you're pushing the other offensive lineman and you're slingshotting him into the other flowing linebacker. So, but again, this is just an example of being able to double, get to backer. Again, Wes just does his job. He does his job consistently. Um, all right. So this one on our last play, we got good push from West, and we got a tackle from Drake. Seems appropriate way to end this particular film session. So we got Drake at the top of the screen. All right, let's get a better angle at this. So we got Drake right here. So this is why I credited him with the tackle. So you can see here again, we'll focus on West first. Um shout out the legend, the director of Sourdough Scouts. What did he say? Happy Friday, Brad and the SDS. You all have a great weekend, and please go check out the contact balance of Jordan Mason. You're going to like it. I love this energy, Justin. I love it. Don't ever change. My guy is pounding the table for Jordan Mason, and I have to do the study. I got to see what our director of Sourdough Scouts is talking about. This man's been on point, and he is banging the table for Jordan Mason. If Jordan Mason turns into a player, I'm crediting Justin for it. That's how it's going to work. But shout out, Justin. Appreciate you, my boy. Again, this dude is the champion of the Jordan Mason fan club, and I am here for it. Just like I feel like I'm the champion of the Donovan West Hive. Hey, I love it. I love to see it. But let's look here, right here, Donovan West again. Again, Donovan West. We're going to focus on West first. Watch the push. Watch the push. Get out of here. Watch him blow past 77, blow past the tight end. Oh, they had a overloaded formation here. But again, good push, man. Good push. But the reason why I credited Drake with the tackle is because he's holding up outside contain on the tight end. Again, you see him. I want to see him get off this block faster. Again, so what I want to see is I want to see him use those arms, extend, and I want to see him peak, extend and peak. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? I want to see him shoot and look. Shoot, get separation, and look. And then when he sees where the running back is going, I want to get him off him. Push, look, shuck. That's what the operation I want it to look like. Again, he gets a little tied up on the tight end. I think he could have completely gotten rid of him a little bit sooner. But again, he's holding outside contain. He forces Rashad to go inside, which theoretically is what we want. And then you can see Rashad runs into a wall of meat. And then Drake is able to dive in. You can see Drake right here getting the tackle. He ends up getting Rashad White down ultimately. So that's why we gave him the credit here. But again, it's not like what Drake was an ultimately dominating force. Wasn't an ultimately dominating force, but you see the traits. And to be honest, for me, it was Donovan West vibes on that tape. So, but hey, that's our first look at both Drake Jackson and Donovan West. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys want to see more film breakdowns. I should be able to. We can look at more Drake Jackson. We can look at more of the prospects. That's the ultimate goal, is to be able to pull up a good amount of the tape and be able to really get a good view of these prospects. And again, this was the first game that I've been really able to study, like log and track the plays and what uh, what Drake Jackson was doing. So I feel like I have a better. I feel like my original kind of gut feeling of what Drake Jackson is and was, again, based on what I've scouted of him pre-draft, uh, diving into the tape, feels like I am. I feel like we are landing in a similar position. Um, Fred wants to see some Jason Poe. I'll see. I'll see if I. I'll see how if I have any of that tape. But if I do, we can definitely break down some Jason Poe. 100%. So I would like to see that particular tape. I'm gonna try to look for some Fordham. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find that, but I'll see what I can get my hands on. Um, but I got all USC, so we can theoretically watch all Drake Jackson. But I think what I'll ultimately do is try to find some highlighted clips. We don't have to go through the whole thing. Try to find some of his best clips, maybe where he can benefit a little bit more. But hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea of what Drake Jackson is. Again, I think he's going to be a developmental prospect in a sense. I think he has all the raw traits and tools. He's a young kid, and I think being in that room with Nick Bosa and Chris Kosarek, I think he's just going to develop further um, with his time with the 49ers. So I'm pretty excited about it. Again, it wasn't a huge game wrecker. Um, wasn't a huge game wrecker in that sense from this particular game. Um, Again, my MVP, if it came to those two, would go to the undrafted free agent. So I think, again, it's just more of an indication of how well the 49ers were able to do in the undrafted free agency process. The fact that they were able to get Donovan West, who I think can start. Um, we'll see if he can start as a rookie. Um, I wouldn't put that on him. Uh, but he's good, man. Again, someone please tell me, why did he go undrafted? There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. It's got to be medical. Is it his personality? Is it what is it? Why did he go undrafted? Someone tell me. I need to know. Because again, the tape doesn't tell me he should be undrafted. The tape tells me that he was a big reason for why Rashad White, who was selected at pick 91, was selected at pick 91. Ooh, that's a good one. Tariq Castro Fields. That could be a good one. So obviously, we have a lot of time on our hands. So I got a lot of tape to watch. And then so what I'll try to do is we'll try to distill it down. But we'll be mixing it in. More film breakdowns, more stuff like that. Anything that you guys want to talk about in the 49ers world, feel free to shoot me a question. This is the time where I'll take a couple questions if you have them. Um, and we can talk about whatever. We could talk about drama. I heard someone say Jimmy was trending on Twitter today. Is Jimmy really trending on Twitter? I'm actually looking right now. I don't see anything. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Let's see. Appreciate that, Paul. Appreciate it. Check his freshman tape. I don't know if I have his freshman tape. Don't know if I have it. Oh, the Jimmy G. Man, it is so wild being a fan of the 49ers, man. The things that we have to talk about and that we have to discuss, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Ooh, good question. Good question, Rohan. Who do you think will be the biggest contributor of the 49ers class in year one? Rohan thinks it will be TDP, which might be right. I think I think TDP has the clearest path, probably, towards being the biggest contributor. I think Drake actually has a clear path when you look at the rooms, right, in the depth chart. But what's going to be very interesting is to see how Danny Gray is basically worked into the offense. Now, we've seen it in the past. It's a robust playbook. And we've seen guys like Debo Samuel come out and say his rookie season that it's a hard playbook to learn. And again, Kyle is very specific with what he wants. He can put a lot of pressure on you. So I think Gray could have, I think TDP is a good answer because when you look at the running back room, well, who do you have? You have Elijah Mitchell, you have Trey Sermon, you have Jeff Wilson, and JaMychal Hasty. So I think that TDP probably has the most likelihood of getting early touches and things like that. But I'm going to be very interested to see the way Gray is integrated into this offense. Yes, Deesh was blocking Drake on that tape, and he did a pretty decent job as well. He also went undrafted. Let's see here. Ooh. Calling the rookie better than Ambry Thomas. Bold take. Let's see here. What's up with the Lance rumors? I don't think it's anything new, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think it's anything new. I do think, quietly behind the scenes that there have been things said like that. But again, also on the flip side, it's like I also saw a situation where they didn't set up the kid for success. So you can't have it both ways, You can't set someone up for failure and then be upset when they fail. You know what I mean? Like if there is any truth to the fact that 49ers coaches were underwhelmed by by Trey Lance, take a look in the mirror. That's all I got to say about that. Again, but I'm not on the practice field. I saw training camp. I saw Trey Lance look like uh, clearly the most talented quarterback on the field. Now, how does that translate into relaying the plays, understanding the intricacies of the playbook? I don't know. Um, that's a different discussion that only these coaches would know. But when I was at training camp, I didn't see any reason why Trey Lance shouldn't have been getting first team reps. I thought it was a detriment to Trey Lance that he wasn't getting any first team reps. And then now we've heard reports that Trey Lance started out hot and then he went down. Okay, can I tell you what my evaluation was of him starting really hot and then going down? The first 2 days of padded practices, it was the Trey Lance show. It was RPOs. It was design quarterback runs. It was letting Trey Lance air it out. It was doing all of these things that fit and was really like benefiting Trey Lance. And then after that, they stopped doing it. And guess what? He kind of sputtered a little bit. So that's what I don't when there's so much context that comes from that, like, Trey Lance was uh, continually underwhelming. Well, guess what? What I saw from training camp from the coaching staff was continually underwhelming. The way that they used Trey Lance initially at the start of training camp to how they ended using Trey Lance at the end of training camp was continually underwhelming. I have it in my notes. Like, what are they doing? What's the thought process? Again, what are they trying to accomplish? Why are they having Trey run Jimmy's offense? There's clearly two offenses. But then why did they have Trey run his offense, thrive, and then stop it, and then force him to do this other offense, which he struggled? And it's like, make it make sense. I know football enough to be able to understand that, like, you put a guy in a position to be successful, and then he's successful, and then you put him in a position to be not successful, and he's not successful. Now, whose fault is that then? Is that the kid's fault? Is that the 21-year-old with no experience? Or is that the adult in the room's fault? Again, if coaches want to come out and anonymously say that Trey Lance was underwhelming, fine. But you have to look in the mirror at a certain point. You're the coach. Did you put him in the best position to be successful? Did you put Trey Lance in a position to win over the locker room? No, you didn't. So how is it Trey Lance's fault? At a certain point, there needs to be some self-reflection here. The San Francisco 49ers ultimately, even though they landed in the NFC Championship. So I guess, is that a win? I guess so, right? Ultimately. But let's not pretend like the way they handled that entire situation probably took a hit to their young franchise quarterback. Let's not pretend that didn't exist. Let's not pretend that the entire locker room was for Jimmy Garoppolo and they weren't for Trey. You put your young quarterback in that position to be in that situation. So if he didn't respond well to that, was that a miscalculation by you for putting him in that situation? At what point are we going to stop blaming a 21-year-old kid who doesn't know what he's doing yet and put the onus on the coaching staff? When do we say the coaching staff was underwhelming? Like, when does that conversation happen? Like, that's why these reports or hearsay, it's just like, it's like there's so much context that goes into all this, and it's like, at what point is this a failure on coaching? At what point is this a failure on the way you built the roster? Maybe you shouldn't have drafted Trey Lance. Hey, at what point was it a failure of trading up to go get Trey Lance? Maybe you should have just stayed at 12. Maybe you should have been patient. And maybe you should have waited instead of forcing it. and you forced it, and now you're stuck. At what point is that a talking point? You know what I'm saying? Like we can't just blame the kid all the time. He's a kid. At a certain point, you got to blame the adults in the room. Like, like I get it. Like if he was underwhelming and he wasn't performing at the highest level, I could understand that. But that a detriment to him 100%? Not necessarily. That can be a detriment to the people in the organization as well. Now, I'm not going to say it is because I don't know. I'm not there. I only saw training camp. I'm not in the huddle. I'm not in the meeting rooms. That would provide a completely different level of context and understanding that I'd be able to wrap my head around. But I can only wrap my head around the things that I saw with my own eyes. And this is the only, like, I can only quantify what I can quantify. And I can quantify Trey Lance struggling, but I can also quantify this. I didn't see a situation where he was set up for success. Imagine being the quarterback, but you're told you're not the quarterback. What are you supposed to do? Especially when it's like your first experience. And again, it's a situation where, hey, we drafted you, that signals that it's over for Jimmy. Jimmy knows it's over. The locker room knows it's over. But we're not going to actually make it a competition. We're just going to give Jimmy the job. And guess what? All the media outpouring from the players are in support of Jimmy, not you, Trey. They're in support of Jimmy. Um, I would imagine that could take a toll on a young kid. So, but I also have said too, like when you look at how they handled Trey last year, I would imagine he's not ready. How do you how do you get ready when you're not preparing to be the starter? How do you get ready when you're not the starter? How do you get ready when you're running a scout team as a quarterback? And one of the main one of the main things you do as a quarterback is be a leader. And the locker room rejected him. Say what you want. Call it what you want. Use whatever descriptive language you want. The locker room rejected him. I heard Alex Mack go on the radio and reject Trey in favor of Jimmy. I've heard all Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle effectively reject Trey while defending Jimmy. Now I get it. They're going to defend Jimmy. That's the point. That's why you don't have both. When you have both, it forces someone to choose. And guess what? You had the most popular guy in the locker room, the unquestioned leader in the locker room, and you put him against Trey. What do you think the locker room is going to do? They're going to go for Jimmy. Not going to say that's going to be the ultimate. Like, I feel, I feel super confident. So I talk about it all the time, man. It all comes back to this. It comes back to confidence. I talk about confidence. Confidence in the NFL is fragile. I say this all the time. Confidence in the NFL is fragile and it must be protected at all costs. Did the 49ers do that with Trey Lance in his rookie year? And if that's something that I truly believe, confidence is fragile in the NFL and it must be protected at all costs. Was Trey Lance's confidence protected? I don't know. So it's obviously created this conversation because it's so cut and dry. Like, again, ask yourself, is a 21-year-old ready to lead a franchise? Probably not. Probably not, because he's never done it before. But how do you get ready? You learn, you fake it till you make it. You have to pretend like you've been there before, and while you're pretending like you've been there before, you actually learn how to do it. So, thank you. Just let him play. I don't want to talk about the quarterback anymore. I don't want to talk about the quarterback anymore because I think it's a really again, I'm not in the building, so I can only assess what information is given to me and what information I see. And based on my assessment, it's just like how can you blame him? How can there be like everyone makes it so cut and dry. It's there's so much nuance involved. Um, oh yeah, I think the 49ers proved last year, especially in the playoffs, that we got to our fan base is crazy and they're ravenous, but guess what? They're passionate and there's a lot of them. 49ers, hey, 49er, it's a great time to be in the content business, baby. And this is just it's just very interesting to watch too. Like because fans have turned like the people who ingest reports, like when typically you have your Schefters, your Ian Rappaports, your Jay Glazers, all these guys, that's their job is to take this information and distill it to everyone else. But fans don't believe that anymore. There's now, I think the bias in the media has been kind of shown. They have shown how they kind of twist things and spin things. And so a lot of fans don't believe half the reports. They instantly discredit it, which it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, when Adam Schefter came out and said, "Hey, Mac Jones at 3." I instantly went live and said that's BS. So, because that's based on the things that I've scouted and things I believe from a draft standpoint, from a value standpoint, all those types of things lend me to believe, like, no, that's not true. That's a smokescreen. But hey, sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're right. But now it's hard to differentiate between the two because fans I feel like have had it. They're just like tired. If your report doesn't match what I already believe, I don't believe it. You're trash. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride. Um, so we'll see what next week holds for us. We will see what next week holds for us. We'll see what other news comes out, where we land on everything. But hey, it's going to be a wild ride. Again, I was on earlier with Larry Kruger, uh, again, formerly of KMBR. He now has his own YouTube channel. Go check out our draft conversation. We spent, again, a solid 45 minutes to an hour only talking about the undrafted free agents. We didn't even start with the draft picks. We started with the undrafted free agents and we broke that down in depth. So if you want to catch our chat, we had that. Head over to Larry's page, shoot him a sub, and the vibe, smash that like button. But hey, man, we're gonna find out what's going on. And again, that's why, like, ultimately, everything that we hear is just talk. It's just talking points. It's just speculation. It's just So that's why I care. That's why I really don't care to talk about the quarterback anymore until I can see what Trey Lance looks like in year two. Until we see the development that he's been able to gain in the last 4 months, then I don't care because it's just talk. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what we get before we start again taking a prospect who needs development and pigeonholing him into some like finite like reality. It's a weird process. It's a weird process. Um, but and this is it. Trey Lance, like if he comes out and struggles, I halfway expect that. And that should be okay. He should be granted. Look at Justin Fields last year. Look at Trevor Lawrence last year. Look at, Mac Jones wasn't perfect out the gate, but he was decent. Look at Zach Wilson. Look at all these guys that got the opportunity to start and they struggled. So I hope we can keep that same energy for Trey Lance. Like I don't understand why that's so difficult. Like, oh, a starting a rookie quarterback struggled. Shocker. Look at this last crop of quarterbacks and how we look at it and we say, oh, generational crop. Look at this year's crop. Oh, they're trash. We had one first round quarterback, and he went below 15. Like those were 1, 2, 3. I think we had 11 and 15. Those were the selections of those quarterbacks. And guess what? They all struggled. And they're night and day better than the prospects in this class. So why can't we wrap our head around that when Trey gets out on the field and gets his first real shot at being the starter, he could struggle and take some lumps. Like it's just there should be a thought process that we should be okay with. Shout out James. Appreciate you, my boy. He says, let's go 49ers. I see you letting those red locks run free under that hat. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We letting the flow out a little bit more. Flow Fridays, maybe. We'll let the flow out on Fridays. We let the flow out on Fridays, potentially. Oh, this hair getting long, boy. Hair getting long, too. Shout out my boy, James. Hope you're having a phenomenal Friday, my guy. Schedule comes out next week. We got to talk about that. Can't wait. So we'll see. But again, shout out to SDS, man. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. Hope you have a good Mother's Day weekend. All that good stuff. We should be back next week. I don't see any problems with that. We should be back next week. Again, barring any kinds of crazy, weird news to pop off this weekend. Be back next week on Monday, hopefully. And we'll go from there. We will go from there. So shout out to everyone who hopped on. I appreciate you guys. If you guys tapped in for the film breakdown. And I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your Friday. And we don't have to talk about is Trey Lance ready or is he not? Let the man play. Let's see what he is. That's in the works, man. It's in the works. I got to figure out which kind I need, what kind I should get. What is the best one that is acceptable? Is it a 95 version? I don't know. We'll see. But shout out to everyone. You guys have a great rest of your Friday. Appreciate you all for tapping in. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Appreciate you guys. You have a phenomenal weekend.